As Pierre said, actually, I've been into business in real estate and insurance for about 29 years. This is something that, I just love doing and caught on to sales very quickly. Growing up, I wanted to be a state trooper early on and decided not to go that route, went into sales, and I'm glad I did that. But over the years, I've been out there speaking to a lot of different agents around the country, and I've been speaking about really taking a look at what's going on in the marketplace. There's a lot of agents that have just gotten into the business over the last 5 or 10 years that have never seen this type of a market. And for me, I've seen this about 3 times now, where, in the late 90s, early 2000, there was a whole big correction then. You guys remember 2008, 2009 with the financial crisis that we had. And here we are again, with COVID and, over the last couple of years, the market has been great. Everyone thought, the market was going to crash when COVID hit and everything got shut down. And it turned out to be probably the 2 best years that a lot of agents had in their whole career. But as interest rates went up last year, as we moved into the fall market, and as we turn into January here, 2023, things changed a little bit, right? And a lot of agents things got pretty real pretty quickly. So what I wanted to talk about today is because I'm talking to different agents, and I was talking to one lady down here in Florida who was looking to join our practice down here, and her name is Alana, and she was referred to me because she's been into business 4 years. She was on a team to start, then she went on her own. She bought leads. She did all the things that we, think that we need to do. And now everything just dried out. So I talked to her, it's probably about 3 weeks ago now that I talked to her. And the conversation was, she was looking for a new broker. She was referred to me by someone else. She's referred, wants to go find a new broker. So when I sat down there, I asked her, I said, why are you looking for a new broker? And she explained to me her background, but she also said, I got no business going on. I got no pendings. I got no listings. So, it must be her broker, right, Pierre? It must be her broker why she's not successful. So I said, well, explain to me the activities that you're doing. Let's sit down and talk about the activities. So we looked at her activities, and you know what? Her activities were none. They were non-existent. When I asked her what type of a database are you using, she looked at me like I had 10 heads. She goes, what do you mean? I go, to your list of relationships, where are those? Because your business is your database. And she's like, well, I got them all on my phone. All my contacts are here. I got everyone on here that I need. I said, all right, well, that's not going to work. I said, well, what are you doing? Right. So we got into some examples of some things that she needed to do, which I'm going to go over with you guys on today's call. And I got onto the conversation about educating your clients, educating the consumer, building that trust factor up. And she goes, oh, I do. I send videos out. I said, all right, well, show me a video. Show me what you're doing. She goes, I just sent this out last week. And it was a TikTok video. Right. And I'm not bashing TikTok. I think it's great. It's making a lot of attention out there. But the TikTok video, right? It's a scene like out of Risky Business, right? She comes flying into her living room with her socks on. She has like this t-shirt and like these booty shorts, as I call them, with her socks on. And a caption comes up on the top and it says, what's the top 3 ways to get your top dollar for your home? And then these 3 things come up and she points to them and it says, call me. And then she does like this, like jump, call me with her phone in her ear, with the cell phone, call me. And she goes, yeah, I got like 1,000 views on that. And I said, okay. I said, that's your way of educating the people? She goes, yeah. She goes, well, I see a lot of other realtors doing that. And why I bring this story up is because I think a lot of agents out there, especially who haven't been into business longer than 5 or 6 years, I'm seeing a lot of that where they're spending so much time on videos, or they're doing all these things on TikTok and Instagram and Reels, but they're not doing the basics, the things that are going to really make a difference in them being successful in real estate. So anyways, we had a long conversation, and the long and short, she's starting to get some different things. I've been kind of mentoring a little bit. She's got her database now, and she's putting people into that and making phone calls. And guess what? She got a couple of referrals. Isn't that funny? So things are working. So we're going to go over some of the different basics, but I wanted to go over that with you because we're in a whole different market right now. And what I like to say is that we're in a pros market. Too many realtors got into this business over the last 5 or 10 years because it looks so easy, right? You just kind of put a post online, tell people you're in real estate, and your phone starts ringing, right? Put a house on the market, sells in 2 days. Wow, this is a pretty easy gig. Things have changed now. And we are in a pros market. Buyers and sellers need us more than ever now because they need a professional. That's what a pros market is. A professional, someone that is a trained, someone that has, whether they have experience or not, they know where to get the experience, but they're green and growing. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can get some of the background of what I was talking about to a lot of our people around the country. And I was getting back to the basics. I'm on a tour now. I'm on the getting back to basic tour. I feel that we're going around out there. Here's some of my background. As you guys saw, like started in real estate, opened my own agency back in 2022, 2009. We were the #1 agent team in our capital district. It was #1 independent brokerage in our area out of 400 brokers. Actually, I got to update the information. The bio I gave you was a little off there. We're up over 12,000 homes now, over $2.5 billion of real estate volume that myself and my team have put together. And last year, I like to say, and I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to be recognized as the 2022 G-Car Realtor of the Year award in our local market for a whole MLS. So that was very proud of that and holding that one pretty strong. So what are we going to go over today? Just real quickly, and I'm going to keep these high level because I could talk for 5 hours on this. I'm going to try to keep this down the next 30 or 40 minutes so we can hit some of those high level points. Take what you like. I'll give a copy of this presentation to Pierre so you guys don't have to worry about losing any information here. You want to take a picture of it on your phone, that's great too. But what we want to go over today is first, what are the basics, right? And there's really 5 components that I want to go over today. Number 1, we are in the lead generation business, right? We're not in a real estate business. Any business that you see out there is in the lead generation business. Without leads, you don't have a business, right? And the database, your success or failure in this business is in direct proportion to the number of people that are in that database that when they think of real estate, they think of you. So you have to think about that. What is my database? If I had to sell my business today, what are you selling, right? Think about a dentist, right? My dentist just sold his practice a couple of years ago, and I had a conversation with him, and the value of his business wasn't the equipment that he had. It wasn't the building he was in. It wasn't the staff that he had. That wasn't what he was selling. He was selling his database. He was selling the relationships that he had and all of his patients that he was selling over to the other doctor. Same thing with us in real estate. We have to value our business and know that if we ever decided to sell our business down the road or want to create an annuity of our database down the road, we have to have a really solid foundation, a solid database that we can be able to sell. So that's number 1. So what are some things that you could do today? And again, the whole goal of this whole presentation today is for you to pick up 1, 2, maybe 3 ideas most that you could start implementing in your business today. And some of the things you might say, well, Willie, I already know all this stuff. Like this is basics, right? I've been in the business 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. I don't care how long you've been in the business. You're going to be able to pick up something from this presentation today that you can implement. Or it's something that you did before, but then the market's been so great over the last couple of years that you got away from that now you need to get back into, if that makes sense. All right. So number 2, working with buyers. Having a strong system on how to work with buyers from the time that you meet with them, to the time you sit down with them, the consultation, to your presentation, to how you get them from contract to close, right? How is your system? How does it benefit the consumer or that buyer? And how is it different from any other real estate agent that they can choose from? We need to be spot on and make sure that we have a very solid process for working with buyers. Number 3, working with sellers, same concept, right? What are you doing prior to the listing appointment, during the listing appointment, and after the listing appointment? What are you doing after the sale? What are some things that you're doing to set yourself apart from all the other real estate agents in your market? For me, we have 4,000 agents in the Capital District. Why should they go with me versus all the other agents? And there's been times, folks, that I've spent competing against 5, 6 different agents. The market is competitive right now. Wouldn't you guys agree? The real estate market is so competitive and everyone wants listings. So as soon as someone says they're going to sell their home, it's like a swarm of real estate agents that come down, and you're going to be competing and going in with this like little yellow pad of paper, saying, okay, what do you want for your home? You know, what are we going to get for your home? Let's sit down and talk. This is not going to cut it anymore, right? What are you going to do to stand apart and be able to stand out to be able to get that seller? Number 4, negotiations. All right, this is what they hire us for, guys. This is a pros market, right? The last couple of years, they haven't worried about it. Just whatever. What do you want to put the house on the market for? Just throw that number out there, and it'll sell probably for 100,000 over or 50,000 over. Those times are over, right? We're still getting a lot of multiple offers, but my point is that there's still going to be negotiation on both sides. Our job is to get the best price for our buyers when buying a home, but also get our best price for sellers when selling our home, right? So we have to make sure we have that balance of a fiduciary responsibility between the two. And then the last piece I want to talk about is the importance of coaching, training, accountability. That's so important, and I definitely want to talk a little bit about that. And the reason I want to talk about that is because there's 2 types of agents out there, and this has not changed. And I want to ask you guys a question right now. Are you a transactional agent or are you a career agent? Think about that for a second. What's the difference between the two? Well, the difference between the two are right here, right? A transactional agent, if you look on the left, tends to waste time, poor spending habits, no client loyalty, lead squirrels. They just want leads, but they don't have a follow-up system. Their conversion rates are really low. They're ripe and rotten, right? They're ripe and rotten. They don't seek additional training and education. You guys, congratulations, are on this call today because you seek that additional education. You want to be better. You want to be a professional. You want to be able to do more business and grow your business. A lot of people should be on this call right now that are not, that have been invited, and they're just too busy, right? I don't need that. Basics. I already know all the basics. I don't need to go on to that. You guys are here. And the last piece on that is low profit margin, agent burnout. And I can tell you right now, according to the National Association of Realtors, there's over 200,000 realtors leaving the market right now, right? Over the last couple of months that have not renewed their MLS dues. They're getting out of the business. And the reason for it, it's too hard. This is too hard. I actually got to work. I actually got to invest back in my business. I got to make phone calls to my database. I'm out, right? They don't want to do it. It's been too easy for them. And then you have a lot of agents that are aging out that have been in the business a long time that say, you know what, I don't know how to do video. I don't know how to do this. It's just too overwhelming. Technology is taking over for them and they're gone. Now, on the other hand, is career agents. And this is what Pierre and I focus on with our teams, that we want to grow career agents. We want our agents to know how to use their time efficiently, right? More time management, choice management. We want them to know their numbers so they understand exactly what they're spending, what their return on investment is, and what their numbers are at any given time. They receive repeat and referral business because they're going to do the things that I'm going to show you here, where they have a process, they have a system, and they had a very exciting outcome, I guess I should say, right? Or a great, exciting process throughout that people said, you know what, you're going to use any other realtor, you definitely want to use Pierre. You definitely want to use Willie. Don't go anywhere else. Use these guys. That's what you want to do. And how you're going to do that is by having a great database and a great process and system. Speaking of database, having a good database with higher conversion rates, right? How do you grow that? Green and growing, being on calls like this, being on podcasts, listening, always reading books. I mean, it's endless of all the information you can get. These are agents that have higher profit margins, have successful business, and it doesn't matter what market they're in. They're always going to be doing business because they have these things down, right? So ask yourself the question, do you want to be a transactional agent? Do you want to be a career agent? Who are you now? And most people say, well, I'm a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay, how do we switch you over to the right side here to be a career agent? All right, so jumping into some lead generation things, right? That was the number one thing that I talked about, lead generation. And we've all heard this before. People do business with who they know, like, and trust, right? But I want to talk about trust right now. And trust is the big piece. The trust piece is the big piece, because if you don't trust your real estate agent, if you don't trust your BMW dealer, if you don't trust your dentist, you're not going to do business with them, right? So know, like, and trust is so important. How do you build that trust? By educating. It's about educating, getting information out to people, letting them know what's going on in the marketplace, letting them know what their home values are, letting them know how they can get top dollar for their home, giving them inspection tips or, staging tips, giving them tips on, what it's going to take to either buy or sell a home for the most amount of money or the least amount of money moving forward. But educating our consumer is where that trust factor comes in. So these are the 4 generation pillars that I always talk about. It hasn't changed, and they've been the same forever for me. It's COI being number 1, right? Your center of influence. That's going to be your strongest pillar, but it's so important to make sure that you're doing things to build that database. Number 2, online marketing. There's so many different things, and I'll show you some different things that you could do on the online marketing front. Offline marketing, I'm going to go over a couple of things on that. And then your social media. Social media is here now. It's here to stay for a while. But how do you use social media, right? Making sure that you're keeping your political views and your religious views to yourself, unless you plan on losing half the business or half the potential people that are out there, because people take sides. Keep that out of your marketing. Keep that off your social media. I see so many agents get wrapped up in what's going on in the politics that you really tick off the other half. And you can't afford to lose half your business, right? Can anyone afford to do that? Absolutely not. And some people say, well, freedom of speech and all this other stuff. Not when you're in business, right? Keep that out of your business. So pillar 1, again, I'm going to go through these quickly, but I just wanted to get through some of this information on it. Your center of influence. Your center of influence, your database, most important. You want to make sure that it's not just a database of a bunch of names and email addresses. You want to make sure that you have them categorized as a VIP client, an A client, B, C, D. Again, your VIP are going to be your best clients. Your A clients are going to be people who have done business with you. Your B clients are the ones that are going to refer you. Your C clients are everyone else. And then your D clients are your dead, I call them dead clients, but people that you just don't want to, they're duds. You don't want to do business with them, but they're in your database for tracking purposes. You really want to try to get up to about 250 people as a minimum, as far as relationships. Like, I don't want 250 people of just names that you just bought off the internet. It's 250 people that I went to them and said, hey, do you know Chris? Oh yeah, I know Chris. Okay, great. That's a relationship. They know who that person is. But if it's someone that says, I have no idea who Pierre is, well, Pierre shouldn't have that person in their database. We have an 18 touch system that we have at the minimum. Gary Keller talks about the 33 touch. I thought that was a little bit, it was a lot, 33 times a year to touch your clients. But now with the emails and technology and everything else, you could do that a lot more effectively. We have an 18 touch system where we do 12 new newsletters a year that goes in their mailbox. If I had to get rid of all my marketing, my newsletter would be the last thing that I would get rid of. I'll show you an example of that here in a second. 4 postcards a quarter. Every quarter, we're sending something out with a list of just solds or something about either an award I won or something our office did. But again, this is going to our database, right? And every person in my database gets 2 texts or 2 calls that they're getting. And Pierre knows this all the time. I'm sending out birthday videos, anniversary videos. If I got to get back to someone, they send me a question, I'm going to actually answer it on video. Right. So think about that. Someone answer your question. Hey, what do you think about this? Or what's your opinion on that? I just grab my camera and I just shoot them with video and I send it to them. They love it. Saves time for me, saves time for them. But nothing replaces an actual video than a text. And I'm just going to give you one more example on the texting and video texting. Try this. Pierre's birthday is today. Probably not a good example. But if you see someone in your database that has their birthday today or tomorrow, do me a favor, send them a video and just say, hey, Pierre, just want to say happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. And, wishing you many more. Take care. Talk to you soon. Send that video out to them. Then I want you to wait 2 or 3 days. Go onto their Facebook. You're going to see 100, 200, 300, 400 likes, right? You're going to have 200, 300, 400 clients or comments on their post for their birthday. Then I want you to ask them, hey, let me ask you something, Pierre. Out of I see all these likes, all these comments, how many people sent you a personal video? And I guarantee you it'll be less than, I'd be surprised if it was more than 3. But it'll probably be you to be the only one. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. And people are like, actually, well, you were the only one that sent me a video, right? Because it's a 1%er activity. Actually, I'm going to say it's probably a 0.5% activity where if you want to deepen relationships with your client base, you want to get more referrals, you want to stay in contact with your database, start sending them videos. And I don't care for what it is, birthdays, anniversary, the kid just, I don't know, won a hot dog eating contest. I don't care what it is. Send them a quick video. Hey, congratulations on the hot dog eating contest. Hope you didn't, puke after or something. I don't know. Don't say that. So that's what we do on there. But I'm going to show you a Project 100 list here that I'm going to show you, because a lot of agents, when I say 250, very overwhelming. 250 people, I don't know 250 people. The average person knows 285 people, right? And you can look that up. But 250 people sometimes a little overwhelming. So I say Project 100, give me your top 100 relationships. Let's start there first. Let's reach out to them. Let them know you're obviously in real estate. I get that too. Everyone knows I'm real. All my friends, my family know I'm in real estate. If they're interested, they'll just call me. I'm going to call bullshit on that. That is not going to happen. And the reason for that is because you need to be top of mind. I don't care who they are, family, friend. How many times you've had a family or friend, if you've been in the business long enough, where a family or friend went with someone else because they're like, oh my God, I forgot about it. Or my neighbor, I had a neighbor, not too long ago, list with someone else. I'm like, what the hell's going on, right? And it's because we weren't doing mailings. We weren't doing mailings in that neighborhood, in our own neighborhood. So we went back to doing that. So that's very important. So let's talk about CRM, right? Getting a CRM, contact relationship management system. And I just said to you, right, your success or failure is in direct proportion to the number of people that are in that database that when they think of real estate, they think of you. So take a look at it, right? There's all different plans that you guys, I know KV Core, EXP has KV Core. I know a lot of agents use Follow Up Boss, Top Producer, Wise Agent, Market Leader, Realty Juggler. The best database is the one you use, right? Because people say all the time, Willie, what's the best database? It's the one you use, right? It's like your toothbrush. What's the best toothbrush? The one you use every morning. That's the best one. So really stick to that and make sure that if you don't have a database, you don't have a business, right? And that's really what that message is here today. And where do you start building your list from? Here you go. Look at all your prior clients. If you don't have any prior clients, then look at your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your phone, your email list. Create that Project 100. Here's some different things here. Who's your dentist? Who's your doctor? Who's your nurse? Who's your neighbors? Who does your dry cleaning? Your florist, your banker. We write a lot of checks out, right? Or we do a lot of credit card charges to all these people. They should be into your database, right? That's how you get that first 100 Project 100 done. So once you have your Project 100 done, what do you do with that list? Because people say, well, what do I do? I don't know. What do I send them? And I don't want to call them all the time. So educate is the best way to attract clients. Educate's the best way to build that trust factor, like I mentioned before. And videos are here to stay. And of all the agents I've coached, all the agents in my company, the #1 agents across the country, all do video. And the reason they do that is because it works so effectively. So here's an idea for you. Get your database. A lot of you are already doing some of this. You have all these email addresses. You want a name and an email address is the main thing that you want. Once you start building it out, I would commit to at least once a week. We can all do that once a week, spend 15 minutes actually recording a video and emailing it to our list. Well, what do I send them? I don't know what to say. Here's some ideas for you. #1, you want to do a real estate market update. So every month, you should take 4 stats in your market. I don't care what stats they are. It could be the number of listings over last year, number of pendings, the list to sales ratio, the days on market. You guys know what all the stats are, right? Pick 4 stats, and you can go out to my YouTube channel and just type in Willie Miranda or Miranda Real Estate Group on YouTube. If you go to Miranda Real Estate Group on YouTube, you'll see a market update that I did. And what I did is I talked about, here's what these stats are. Here's what's going on in the market. Here's what it means for a buyer. Here's what it means for a seller. And if you're interested in buying or selling a home and want more information, give me a call. And that video is our biggest and most engaging video amongst all the videos that we send out, is our market update. And the reason for that is because everyone wants to know, how's the market doing? How's the market doing, right? Because their biggest asset, more than likely, is their home. So #1, sending that out, that market update. You could do it once a month. You could pick the 15th of the month, the 3rd mailing, your 4th, whatever you want to do, but pick that one week every month to send out a market update for the month prior. Number two, you want to do a seller tip. Tips on selling your home. Maybe it's, what to do to get your home ready for the market. Maybe it's curb appeal, whatever it is, do a quick seller tip scenario. Seller story. People love stories. Sell the stories. Tell them, no, hey, I listed this property. They were relocating to Florida. We ended up getting their house under contract. They didn't think they can do both, but we ended up doing it. And, there's a happy ending to it somewhere. So seller stories are very, very good. And then the last one is Q&A, seller Q&A. And you could just Google, home seller questions when selling a home, and you'll come up with 30 or 40 of them. Each one of those are a video. Each one of those questions are a video. Number three, interview with the referral partners on subject matter. Your inspectors, your attorneys, your lender, title, whatever it is, reaching out to them and interviewing them. Asking your banker, what's it take? And what do you feel the interest rates, what's going on with the interest rates right now? And how does a 3-2-1 buy down work to actually get the rate down for a couple of years so that buyers can afford a home? Maybe it's an inspector talking about radon or talking about a septic or well inspection. Go out to the actual next inspection that they're doing and say, hey, I'm here with George. George, tell us about this septic and how it works. Put that on video and send that out to them. Educate your database. And then in week 4, you do the same thing. Buyer tip, seller tip. Buyer tip, buyer story, buyer Q&A, right? So those are the 4 that I would do. I mean, you can put whatever else you want on there, but my point is that you want to have something that's consistent. You do it each and every week. Maybe it goes out Sunday night at 6 p.m. Maybe it goes out at Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Pick a day of the week, a time, and then be consistent each and every week. You'll be top of mind awareness to all your people in your database, and your phone will start ringing. People will respond back, and you're not spamming them. It's good information. You're giving them valuable information on how to get top dollar for their home or how to buy a home. And if they're not looking to buy or sell, they probably know someone else is, and that's how you get referrals. All right, number 2, online leads. Again, I'm going to go through this quickly. Zillow leads, Trulia, we do this in the States, Realtor.com. You have Google pay-per-click leads that you can do as well, Market Leader, Bold Leads, Commissions Inc. The list goes on and on, right? There's so many different ways. Facebook, you need to be online because that's where the consumers are. And the big thing about this also is that, listen, big tech is out here, right? Big tech is out wanting to get in our pockets, and they've been doing a really good job of it over the last 5-10 years. And if you're not doing this stuff to your database, you're not educating your database, that's okay. Because all these other platforms are doing it and they're getting the business because our consumers are going to those sites, fill out an information and being given information for another real estate agent to work with. And if we're lucky, we might get it back in our favor, but we have to pay a referral fee, right? And they want to get in our pockets. And big tech is here to stay. This is why this whole real estate and this database is so important for you guys to make sure that you're staying top of mind with them. So here, you got to be online. That's pillar number 2. Number 3, offline marketing. Offline is definitely not dead. There's a lot of aging clients out there that are not on social media. They're just not. They're not going to see you on social media. So you got to get in their mailbox. And geographic farming, I always say 500 homes minimum or less, or more, I should say. Postcards, newsletter, calendars, vendor lists. There's so many things that you could do. Open houses are back. I know we got away for a little bit with COVID, but we just had 55 people through our last open house because we did a mega open house. That's a whole other call. But the mega open house where we're inviting neighbors, we're inviting, buyers lists that we have. We're getting it out there in the newspapers. I mean, we're just making an event out of this mega open house, getting tons of people through, picking up sellers, picking up buyers. Market update flyers, even if you just send to a neighborhood top 10 sales in that area or that county or that city, people like that and they hold on to it, especially if you have your information on it. Stats are something that people usually hang on to. Put your business card on it or have your business card on there and they'll get back to you. Food, this is a food drive that we did, trade a can for a cone. You could do all kinds of different events for your neighborhood. Here's where we actually went and had an ice cream truck follow us. We collected canned good items from all the people in the neighborhood. We gave them free ice cream. They gave us a can for the food drive. Very successful. We've done it multiple years. But here's the thing. The thing with this is that everyone says, I don't want to do that. That seems like a lot of money. It cost us $300, guys, $300 for 2.5 hours of me giving out ice cream and collecting cones. That was it. It's very inexpensive to do, and it's a great thing to do for not only the food drive in the food pantry, but it's also great for the neighborhood. All right, here's a copy of my newsletter, 4-page. You don't have to get as fancy as this. I know it looks, if you look over here on the left, What's Up with Willie has information about what I did that month. We have some photos here, my trips or speaking engagements, stuff like that. Stats, I always have stats in there. What things that we sold, I put them in there. Testimonials, you'll see on the bottom there. We do stuff for local charity. We put that in there. You can't see behind here, but there's a recipe there. My wife, she thinks she's Rachel Ray now because she's got all these recipes, and all of our clients always, every time we see someone out, they always reference her recipe. And then this goes out to them. But again, this is going to get you known in your geographic farms. It's going to glue the relationships that you have with your database. And I'm constantly in their face every month. They're getting this, and they're reaching out to me for CMAs. They're reaching out to me for referrals, or just reaching out to me for, hey, do you know a good plumber? You know a good painter? Whatever that may be. Sometimes I feature them in my newsletter. So again, newsletters work, and I definitely highly recommend, if you want to track more listings, start doing these newsletters. Here's a recent postcard I sent with the Realtor of the Year, picture of my wife and I, let them know that thanking the clients within the community. This went out to 21,000 homes, actually drops the 31st. So that's in next week. This postcard will drop, but I always have a call to action on the front of it, updated home values. Click here to get updated home value, or they can call me directly. This goes right directly to my inside sales. They could scan if they want to watch a video of how I got into the real estate business. And again, another call to action on here. So that's going out, still doing direct mail. If you want to find those listings, you need to get in those mailboxes, because I could tell you, probably a good third of the people here are 75, or I would say 70 and older, and they're not on social media. So I will definitely pick up some listing calls from this postcard. Now, well, Willie, I'm not Realtor of the Year. Then don't put that on there. Put something else on there. It was another award that you got. Put on your stats. Last year I sold whatever, or my company sold whatever. It doesn't matter. But like, we just had something, $230 million of volume last year on another postcard I'm working on. It doesn't mean that I did 230 million, but our company did, right? So perception's reality. Mailing to your geographic farm. We have, you guys probably do this. You have an RPR or some type of a CMA software that you could do CMAs for different individual homes. My agents do that want to get more listings. We give them this letter, which basically, I'm not going to read it for you. You can take a picture of it, but just says that, hey, in this report, I went and took the liberty of giving an estimated value of your home. And we attach the estimated value of the report to this. You can send this out in an email, or you can mail it, which is more effective. And we send it out 10 a day to the neighbors. And it goes out. So in my one neighborhood, I have about 300 homes in one neighborhood. So it goes out to them. So within 30 days, I hit that whole neighborhood with this RPR letter. Do you know that these people will come to my office, or when I go to their homes, they have this letter and this information in their hands? And the reason for it is because it's valuable, it's personal, and it's something that's totally different than any other agent. Most agents are doing, they're just listed, they're just sold, all the other cards that we do all the time. And I'm saying that they don't work, they're great, but nothing replaces these type of letters because it's personal. They're not going to throw it out. And it works very good. So if you're looking for listings, this is a great template to be able to use. I'm sure you guys have seen this. I have a buyer letter, which if you don't have a buyer, do not send this out. I'm really big on integrity, and we don't want to see anyone taking this letter and just blanketing areas and not have a buyer. But I will tell you that it's very effective. I have one of my coaching members here, Francis, that used this down in Orlando. She sent it out. She had two buyers actually looking in a certain neighborhood. She sent this letter out. She got, I think she sent out 1,300 homes. It was a condo community and some townhouses and some regular homes. 1,300. She ended up getting 3 phone calls from it, sold her one buyer, got another listing, and I believe she got a third listing on it as well. But my point is that she would have never got them off-market properties in a very competitive market in Florida, and she was able to get 2 listings as a result of sending this letter out. I sent this out here. I've been getting, in our market, our average sales price is only like 330,000. but I've been getting $1 million listings, and I keep throwing it out to $1 million homes. So what I did is I took the tax assessment of all homes that were $1 million or more, or I think it was 850 or more, and I sent this letter out to them, let them know that, you know, we recently sold a couple of houses here, multiple offers, and I put the price on there, and I have a buyer that's can be flexible closing. They're willing to pay full market value if the inside of their home matches their needs. If you're interested in making a move in the next 2 to 3 months, give me a call. I send this letter out, I always get a phone call, 2, sometimes 3, 4 calls that I've been able to get from sending out this letter. Very easy. Send it out if you have buyers, because if you're, listen, again, we're in the pros market, we're in the professionals market. If you're like the average agent or you're a transactional agent, you're just sitting there every day, no, nothing on MLS, no, nothing on MLS, no, nothing on MLS. I tell my buyers or my agents, when I hear that from them, shame on you. Shame on you if that's the way that you're trying to get that buyer a home. You need to be proactive, go after for sale by owners, go after expireds, send this type of a letter out to people in the demographics that they're looking for. Yeah, you got to spend a little bit of money. Yeah, you got to put a stamp on something, but these are very effective. And I made hundreds of thousands of dollars now by sending these letters out and getting off-market listings. Here's a mailing again in the United States. We do have this every door direct mailing for 20 cents a piece. I can get these in every door, certain areas. So again, I sent this out to my neighborhood. I'm using that realtor of the year until I can. A call to action on the bottom. Here are all the listings I sold. I don't know, 30 something homes in that neighborhood. So I put all the addresses on there, and then I sent them to a free book that I wrote, what every person needs to know about selling a home in the Capital District. So I'm giving them value, I'm giving them stats, and that's what we have to do when we send those mailings out. All right, social media. Again, this is kind of, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with social media, but I think there's 4 platforms you really need to be on. Number 1, you definitely need to be on Facebook. You need to be on, you have a business page, and yeah, all these things, they're fine, but you know, really, I mean, you don't get a lot of engagement on a lot of this type of stuff. But when you put video on there and you're educating your people on your platform doing video, it takes off, right? Your engagement level goes through the roof versus just doing these static type of posts. But we put testimonials on there, we put just solds, just listed, you know, you still have to do that. And I do agree that it keeps you branded out there in the marketplace. Instagram, these are, you know, again, same type of concept, put it out there, right? If you did a, you know, $1 million a month, put it out there, right? And this is what we did for Christine. If you had a great testimonial and you're getting 5-star reviews, make it a post, put it out there, let people know so they see it, because they're not looking at reviews on your accounts usually. If you just listed something, put it out there as well. YouTube, everyone should have a YouTube channel, right? There's mine, Miranda Real Estate Group, but I also have one at Willie Miranda. You can go there as well. And we have, you know, tons of videos on there for house videos, testimonials from our clients. That's the other thing you should be doing. Here's one down here with Drew and Dora. We did a great testimonial. People say, well, how'd you get that? I just asked them, I go, hey, would you mind? I'm updating my marketing. Would you mind if I went ahead and had my videographer stop by for a few minutes and just record you on video? And they all say yes. I had one person that said she wasn't comfortable with it because she doesn't like the way she looks on video. I wanted to say, well, you look like that all day long, right? Get over it. So what I say to real estate agents, but she was a little more shy. And I had one person out of probably 30 of them that said no. So you can go on YouTube and check those out. LinkedIn, for us in the States, I don't know if you guys use this, I think you do, but it's a professional network, LinkedIn, right? Get a lot of leads from there too, but a lot of agents don't use LinkedIn because they don't think of it as such. Now, you're not going to be putting some of the posts that are on there, but you definitely want to use videos to educate and put them on LinkedIn. All right, so that's social media. So real quick, because I want to wrap things up here, working with buyers, having a buyer profile. What are the questions you should be asking? I apologize, a little bit lighter here on the screen, but you should have an actual sheet of paper that you're sitting down with them and going over all the different questions. What's important to them? What's your primary reason for buying a home? Do you have children? Do you entertain a lot? Like, these are things that people are like, wow, my last agent never said that. Or we've been working with 3 other agents, haven't found a house in 6 months. They never asked us those questions. Yeah, you want to be different, right? So you want to be able to fill out a buyer profile. Again, get their search criteria. who pays what. So we go over, who pays attorneys, who pays, for septics, structural inspections, that type of stuff. We go over that. We have a plan, right? Any buyer or seller, you want to let them know that we have a plan, we have a process. Buying a home is a scary proposition for a lot of buyers. And there's so much noise out there in the marketplace as, what should I be doing first, second, and third? Well, we have a step-by-step plan here, 13 steps on how to buy a home. I'm going to walk you through every step. And we go through every step with that buyer on our initial appointment, and then we give them a copy of it so that they feel comfortable knowing what our process is, okay? Everyone can do this. And these are all on Canva, by the way. So, again, they're easy to do on Canva. We have a buyer checklist. Yes, we have it in written format. We do have it in Follow Up Boss, but my assistant Trish likes to have it so that she can go through and check off things as we go through. We never miss a beat. She's always looking at those files each and every day, going through from the time we execute that offer to the time we close, to asking for, referrals, for asking for a testimonial, for making sure that we have their closing gift. Everything is processed on there. Every person that's on the deal is on there, and we have it physically on a paper file, okay? When you're done with it, she scans it, puts it as electronic, and we're done with it. We shred the paper and it's done. But again, for a lot of us, you're on the move. This is a great buyer checklist for you to have. Buyer presentation. You need to have some type of digital buyer presentation. And I love to share with you down the road. If you guys are interested, I have a buyer presentation and I have a seller presentation. When I sit down with a buyer, I'm educating them. I'm going through all the reasons why they need to sign a buyer agreement and commit to us as a buyer client versus just being a transactional type of agent. So we do have a buyer presentation for that, but it really educates them on the process. And then we have a client close plan. Again, remember I talked about transactional agents. They get that check and they're out the door. They never talk to that person again. That's when your relationship should start. So when you have a closing, take a look at this plan. Next time you have a closing, the very next day, I want you to call them when they're in their first home. Hey, Pierre, how's the first night in a new home? 9 out of 10 times, oh my God, it's great. Thank you so much for calling. You just spent the last 3 or 4 months with these people, right? So you just call them, see how things went. Every once in a while, though, you're going to have someone be ticked off about something. One story that I had, and I'll just say real quick, keys didn't work. They thought the key's going to work. I called them. Hey, Dave, how's things going on? Oh, my wife is upset. She didn't sleep all night. None of the keys work. No problem. I sent my locksmith over, changed the locks, cost me $170 to change the couple locks that he had. And I paid it. I told my locksmith, send me the bill. He called me. He was so happy. I can't believe you did that. I said, I want to make sure you and your wife are happy. No problem. In the next 3 months, I've got 4 more referrals from this guy. And every one of those referrals that I got, when I went to meet with him and talk with him, brought up the key story, brought up the locksmith story. You think that works? I would have never have known that if I didn't call him the next day. That's just one of many, many different stories. So you want to give good service, call them the day after, call them a week later. If you give them a vendor, follow up in a month later. Hey, how'd that painter do? How'd that roofer do? And then every year thereafter, year after year, 365, call them on their anniversary, send them a small gift, put them on Client Giant where they're getting something from every quarter. These are for your very best clients. But this closing plan has made me millions of dollars because I've replicated it with numerous agents on my team, and they've used it, and it's been very, very good. Here's a couple closing gifts examples. Here's a great book. John Ruhlin wrote this giftology. We give bottles of wine, we give gift cards. I don't even know who I was telling my wife the other day, we got all these bottles of wine, we got all these gift cards. Where the hell they come from? She doesn't even know where they came from, right? And it's the same thing with consumers. They forget. They don't remember that you gave them a card or whatever it may be. But when I read this book, he said, don't give consumables. Give something that's emotional, not promotional, right? Because I used to give out these Cutco knives and all this stuff with my name all over it. That's great. But I started giving out emotional things. So these Snapfish books with the seller's pictures of their home, I can't tell you how many times at the closing table, they've just cried when they've gotten this book, because again, it's emotional to them, right? The picture of our first home, that's for a buyer. You can get that for like $80. They're on Etsy. You take a picture of the front of the house, you send it to them to first, buyer, hey, just wanted to give you this as your first home. They're going to frame this. They're going to put this thing up, and you're going to be in their living room or dining room forever because they're going to remember where that photo came from, right? They're not going to remember that bottle of wine that you got them or that $100 gift card. So that's one. Here's some other things, some wood signs, some cutting boards, Yeti mugs are popular. You want to give them personalized stamps so that they don't have to, a lot of times they forget, oh crap, now I got to write my address down. You can get the stamp thing too if you wanted to. Here's the Cutco knife. Don't do that unless you're just doing promotion. But again, put their name on it, right? Get a bunch of them that you can, do that with their name on it. Carving knife set or something like that. All right, working with sellers. Before you go on a listing appointment, are you doing anything? So if I make a listing appointment right now, and I said, okay, great, I'll see you on Saturday at 10 a.m. I need to get something in the mail to them, or I need to get something in email to them right away to let them know about who I am. I want to be pre-sold going into that. Why? Because if I'm competing against 3 or 4 other agents, I want to make sure that they know as much about me as possible. So I'm sending them an email similar to this. I'm sure I can get a copy for you, Pierre, if you want. Basically, they click on there, so they get our home seller guide, they'll get our team booklet, my biography, all different things, my seller book, PDF copy, my business card, online reviews, and I even added a number 9, which is a video testimonial of a luxury client, or a video testimonial of a client talking about how great it was working with Willie and Miranda Real Estate Group. But you want to give them something ahead of time, and then obviously confirm the date there. The other way I like to do it, especially on the higher end listings, is I have a solid blue box that you see in front of you. And in that blue box, I have a bunch of listing material about us, the company, etc. Everything that's on that email is in digital format, but the physical product is right here. It's in a blue box. And inside that blue box are a copy of my book, my business card, meet the group, the home seller guide, relocation services, and everything that people are saying about me and my clients and background on me. They're getting that in the mail. They're either getting it in a FedEx box, they're getting it hand delivered on their doorstep, they're getting a text, hey, I dropped the package off to you. Please take a look at that prior to our meeting. And they look through it and they get a ton of information. And I'll ask them a lot of times, did the prior agent or did the other agents that you're interviewing, did they give you any of this information on how they're going to get top dollar for your home? And the answer is always no. Why? Because they're coming in here with the yellow pad. They're coming in here with the folder of their company with a bunch of crap that they don't even want to look at. We're here, they're getting information on how to get top dollar for their home, right? So you got to set yourself apart. If you don't have a book, then, you could buy a book on how to sell your home for top dollar. Buy a book and use that. Buy multiple copies and give that out. So here's what some of the information inside looks like, right? About me, and then, what clients are saying. So that's good. We have a seller home line for sellers as well, a timeline. Here's the date today you decide to sell. Here's number 3. We're here at the listing appointment, and we go all the way down through to closing date, right? We go through a moving checklist with them, things that they need to organize, things they need to do on moving day, all the things that they need to do prior to closing. People love this, and it's in the seller guide, which has a bunch of different things that they need to do prior to selling or prior to closing. We have a listing presentation that is rock solid. Again, shows our marketing, shows our team, shows everything that we do to get top dollar for their home. Again, I'll ask them, based on all, here's all the stuff that we do for marketing. Based on this information, how do you feel about getting your home sold with us today? And a lot of times I'm like, wow, that's so much information. Did the other agents show you that? No. All right, great. Well, let's write it up and we end up getting the listing. We have a very strong and high closing rate with this listing presentation. We also have a seller checklist. Here are all the things that we have to do there, right? So I have an assistant. So you notice I have very few WMs by them. That WM is me calling for a price reduction or me taking a listing. But after that, everything's pretty much TR, which is Trish Wilson, which is my assistant. She's the one doing everything and going through. All right, real quick on negotiations. Negotiations are very important. I think a lot of agents lack the training and lack the appetite to go out there and learn about negotiations. And I think it's very important. It's important for you when you're on a listing appointment and you're protecting your commission or fighting for your commission or negotiating your commission. When you're out there working with a buyer, going back and forth, trying to get them the best deal. And I just think overall negotiation is so important, even with your sellers when they're being approached by getting, kind of beat down on an actual inspection. So there's some resources here. I mean, Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, they have some great scripts and dialogues. You can find them on YouTube. Zig Ziglar was a guy that I used to buy his tapes, his CDs, even his cassettes, I'll admit, back in the day. Negotiating skill for salespeople, really great content. Here's a book Chris Voss wrote on Never Split the Difference. And then you have getting to yes, right? Negotiating agreement without giving in. So these are some great resources for you for negotiating. We have multiple offer tips. A lot of you are going through multiple offers right now with buyers. Getting that pre-approval, writing that love letter, escalation clauses, increasing the down payment, using, an agreement where they close now and then we rent back for them. I mean, there's all different things that you could do on here. But these are tips that we give to our buyer agents and our buyers when negotiating properties. Let's just give an example, like negotiating an inspection, right? When a roof comes up, you get these major defects. I see a lot of agents out there, selling agents, right? Like, well, we're not doing anything. I don't care if the roof is shut or not. My seller's not doing anything. Then the buyer gets upset and then they're screaming and yelling, well, we're going to pull the deal. And, we need to all play nice in the sandbox, right? So some tips that we give out there on negotiating, like really listen and stay calm, whatever that is, right? If you start, hear another agent on the other side, you have a listing and you're hearing an agent screaming and yelling that they want this report, this roof replaced or they're going to walk, just listen to them. Don't get combative with them, just stay calm. Clarify and isolate the question. After they're done talking, so, okay, so what I'm hearing is everything is great other than the roof, but there's no leaks, right? There's a little bit of fading on the one side of the roof. So the inspector said it's beyond its useful life. Okay. So other than that, is there anything else? No, that's the only thing. So again, you want to isolate what the actual problem is. From there, solve the objection. Go out and get another roofer, right? Get two more roofers that are specialists that are actually know what they're doing and get their opinions and let them know that, hey, let me look into this with my seller and I'll get back to you. We're going to investigate a little further. We'll get a roofer out there and take a look. Once you know what the objection is and everything is handled, confirm what the solution is going to be. Hey, you know what? There's no leaks. There's nothing going on here. We're going to give you a credit of X. We're not going to replace the whole roof, but we feel this is fair. And then you just negotiate back and forth. But my point is, you're never going to flip your lid and go down that road. We're going to move on and get to the finish line here on negotiation. So again, whole other course on negotiation that we could talk about, but I just want to kind of share that with you a little bit. Last piece, coaching and training. I've always had a coach. I still have a coach. I have two coaches. I do training. I do accountability. I'm always looking to grow my business even at the level that we're at. But any new agent, any experienced agent, it doesn't matter where you're at, newer or most experienced, you need some type of training. You need accountability because things are always changing in our business. Accountability idea, if you wanted to do, you need to have an accountability group or partner. We do 6-week accountability programs where we have the whole thing, all the expectations written out. You got to be on time. If you miss more than 2, you're out. We do it for 6 weeks. There's no side talk, no cell phone, no texting. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to state what we want to accomplish. So let's say we want to create a geographic farm and get our postcard and everything out to them. That might be your macro goal that you want to accomplish in 6 weeks. Then we go around the room and say, okay, Pierre, what are your top 3 things that you need to do to get you closer to that goal? Well, I'm going to pull a list. I'm going to, find out about what's the best way to mail it through the post office, blah, 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 right? And then we go around the room. And then at the end of the class, we assign everyone an accountability partner. So for the next week, that accountability partners, they talk to each other each and every week. You come back the next week, we go around the room. Okay, Pierre, what did you get done? Well, I got my list. I did this, but I didn't get this. Okay, what could we have done different? We go around the room. And then the following week, we say, okay, move into week 2, switch accountability partners. And what are you going to do for the next week? And we do that for 6 weeks. And these guys are getting things done, right? They're getting their things done. And I've had numerous agents say to me, Willie, I would have never gotten those 5 listings if it wasn't for that letter that you had me send out. I would have never have done this if I didn't do this. And accountability forced me to do it because we will do more for others than we will for ourselves, right? Think about that. We'll hire a trainer to go to the gym, to eat better, to lose weight, because we want to make that trainer happy, right? Same thing in our business. We will do these things that we know we need to do to be successful, but we'll work harder a lot of times for others than we will ourselves. So that's an idea. And if you don't have a group, I say 10 to 12 is a good sized group, get an accountability partner and do the same thing with one-on-one with someone else. Coaching and training, attend company events. I know you guys are always doing events. local and out of the area events. Get there, even if you're like, I'm busy, I got this going on, get them in. You'll learn so many things from that. Podcasts. I listen to podcasts pretty much every day, attending webinars like this. We have a masterclass I'm going to invite you to that every other Wednesday. We go really deep on all of these topics. And then get a coach, whatever that may be. Get a coach. I think it's so important. And there's a ton of them out there. So here's our masterclass. If you guys want to get free access to this, just go to blueprintclassroom.com. It's every other Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. It goes through the end of the year. But again, great content, guest speakers. It's really good. Similar to information what I'm giving you guys today is what's on these courses. Now, if you missed it and you want to see a recording of that, you can always go. I'll show you the Facebook page for that. But here's the actual masterclass. Look, lead conversion, module 1. 2, social media to leverage your business. 3, seller lead generation. 4, buyer lead generation. 5, contract to close. And 6, attract and repeat and referral business with doing client events and what to say and what to do and all those things. That's what we go through our masterclass. That's every other Wednesday, blueprintclassroom.com. And again, you want the recordings, go here, Real Estate Blueprint Masterclass on Facebook. You have to be a real estate agent. Just let them know, put on there that you were on Pierre's webinar, and I'll make sure you guys get free access to that. And again, there's scripts, dialogues, there's videos, there's all kinds of great content that's in our private Facebook group. And the last thing, last slide here is, if you want a copy of my book, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked in Real Estate Business, Amazon bestseller, by the way. You can get that copy, PDF copy, at freewilliestuff.com. Just click on the book. You can download the PDF. And I also have a bunch of webinars and different things on how to work with, time management tips for the high producing agent, 7 key ways to build your business by referral. There's a ton of stuff on there for you guys to get access to. So there you go. And we are done. So a lot of stuff that I crammed down there quick. Again, this is probably a 2-hour presentation that I knocked down into 45 minutes to an hour here today for you guys today. Any questions?
Yeah, there was a couple of questions there, Willie. How long, Ashton asked, how long should the videos be that you're sending out?
That's something that has come up a lot of different times, and I've listened to so many different gurus talk about it. If it's interesting and people really want that content, it could be 30 minutes, right? But on normal, what I'm finding out there, on average, no more than 2 to 3 minutes, the videos. All right. But if you're going to go deep with a topic, it could be as long as you want, as long as it's engaging and good value. But 2 to 3 minutes is usually what we see for sure. And then I'm finding a lot of people, trying to keep it for like Instagram and TikTok, keeping it, sometimes even as low as 30 seconds on a video. So it all depends on the topic and the content that you're giving out there.
Thank you. Kevin had a question as well. Should we go to FSBO open houses to meet the sellers?
Yeah, why not? Right. That's kind of a no-brainer. That's a little low-hanging fruit right there.
Yeah.
You go, you meet with them, give them something of value. Don't just show up and say, hey, I want to get your listing. Give them something of value. Give them a book on how to get top dollar for their home. Give them a disclosure that they need to fill out as a for sale by owner. Give them, some tips on how to get top dollar for their home, and go from there. But you want to build a relationship first, then ask for the business.
Yep. One of the things you had taught me before regarding the videos was, sometimes you have clients asking you questions about, certain scenarios and certain things. And I know you do this a lot. You say, hey, I either had an agent or I had a client ask me this question, and I thought I would share the answer with everybody because I'm sure other people are asking the same thing. And I've seen a lot of your videos on that as well too, which are great. Guys, listen, if you look at Willie, do you think he has a high conversion rate when he steps in a room? Right? He is so systemized. And I know that when he was coaching me, it was all about systems and having systems in place. There's checklists, there's everything so that things don't get missed. Because sometimes when we get busy and we get doing a lot of stuff, we get sidetracked and then we don't follow that checklist. And Willie taught me to definitely have a checklist and make sure that we were systemized. So that's probably why he sold so many homes in his career. Am I correct there, Willie?
Yeah, and you have to have a plan, and people appreciate it, right? If you just come in, on 2 wheels, you show up to the appointment late, and you're flying through your briefcase, and you're a hot mess. right? But if you're going in there, you show up on time, you have a plan, here's how we're going to do it. And here's the thing, right? There's three things that get your home sold. I always tell people, it's going to be your condition of your home, which you have a beautiful home. It's the marketing of your home. And I know ours work because we've sold thousands of homes, right? 12,000 now. So I know our marketing works. Comes down to price. That's the third.
Yep.
So, that's your biggest obstacle on a lot of these listings is getting them to the right price. And that's a whole other training that we could do on that as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Vinod had a question, how to be consistent. Any tips?
Schedule it. If it's not in your calendar, it's not going to happen, right? Think about how many times have you said to a friend, yeah, we got to get together for lunch, we got to get together for a drink, whatever. And it just never happens, right? Now, it's same thing with Pierre and I, right? Pierre, how many times you say, we got to get together for golf? Yeah, we never did. And then finally I said, let's get it in the calendar. And it was August, I think we did it, right? And it was like about 2 months out, but we got it in the calendar, we made it happen. And guess what? I had 10 other things I could have done, 10 other things that wanted to get into that appointment. But I says, no, I already have it committed. So how do you become consistent? You put in your schedule. So if you want to do videos every week, pick a time of the week, block it out, and treat that like a listing appointment. When you block out something for lead generation or something like that, treat it as a listing appointment, right? You wouldn't cancel a listing presentation. You wouldn't be on a phone on a listing. You wouldn't be taking phone calls or texting on a listing. I hope you don't. Treat the same thing. Treat it the same way. So make sure it's in the calendar.
Willie, Dev has a question here. Can we have the buyer seller presentation copy for us?
Yeah, I'll share that. Yeah, I'll give it to you though, Pierre. So if you want to send it to me and get it out to your team, that's fine. I don't mind sharing that.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, guys, is hopefully Willie gives me permission here. We have a website that's called herewegrow.club, and all of our training and stuff is on there. My listing presentation's on there. I know there's people in here that are not part of our organization. They're part of other companies, which is great. We're here to share, guys. We're an open book. My listing presentation's in there. A bunch of different trainings that we do have are in there, and we're constantly updating it. So you guys are welcome to go in there. It's all free, herewegrow.club. And then obviously Willie's got some amazing stuff on his website as well. I highly suggest. This guy's got so much experience. It's unbelievable. And he's a great guy and he's a great coach. So this is one of the best birthday gifts I've ever had, Willie. I really appreciate you being here, and we respect your time. I told you an hour, so we're just over that hour now. And so we're going to let you go with your day. But again, thank you so much for all you do. And all my success is comes back to you. You were kind of like the mentor in my business when I was growing, and I appreciate everything that you've done for us. And again today, so you're such a big giver. Appreciate you.
Well, like I said, I can give you all these things, give you all the plans, give you all the systems, but at the end of the day, Pierre, you did the push-ups, right? You did the work and you executed on it. And listen, and it goes for everyone on this call, you can learn all this great stuff and it's great, but if you just shut your computer off now and just go about your business, you're never going to grow. Take 1 or 2 or 3 good ideas here, implement them, execute them, and you'll just get excited with the results that you get from it. And not everything is going to work, right? Sometimes things will work, sometimes they won't. But I can tell you that I'm not giving you things that I haven't done myself and still continue to do, and also giving out to my coaching members and my agents, and Pierre knows that. So execute is what you need to do. And I wish all of you a very safe, healthy, and more productive 2023 here, because I know it's a challenging market right now, but everyone's just got to dial in and get to the basics.
Yep. And Serge, yes, you're right. It's a great day for a great day. All right, guys, appreciate y'all being here. Super excited to see so many people show up. And if you guys ever need anything, just reach out to Willie or myself. We're happy to help. Okay. Have a great day, everybody.